What it do, y'all? It's your boy Cloak Unknown. Today I'm leaning into a more serious objective here. My past three videos were flight reactions, but I have done some pretty serious videos before. The social and economic state of the world right now type of stuff, and there's this thing like where I saw today on online that really bothered me, and I just wanted to make a video about it, talk about it, and just hear what people's thoughts on it are. I'm gonna play the video for you. I just want to see, I just want to play the video. So. So, you know what I'm saying? That was not a video of not even a basketball game or anything like that. It was a line to go to Streamer University. Okay, there were people out there standing in line, going out there and doing Streamer University. And my thing is like I don't have a problem with this at all. I'm not going out there telling people and policing them what they should do with their lives. But it leaves me thinking you know, why do we never pop out in terms of voting? I mean, look, I'm sure there are kids people under 18 that are over there as well, but there's a lot of adults, man. There are grown men, grown women standing in line for this, and it just makes me wonder, like, how many of these people in this area vote? How much do they really know what's going on, like in the political atmosphere? And the thing is, like, yeah, it's a dorky thought. Like, no one wants to think about politics. There's never really an appropriate time to talk about or have a conversation about politics, because it can end up in an end of a friendship, hurting relationships, things that have been so deep can really break apart, whole families, and that has happened. I mean, shoot, it could get as worse as humanly possible. I mean, that's just how bad politics is. But I mean, a serious conversation is just like the amount of the lack of attention that the youth have around politics, or just the lack of comprehension or education around it, is just so low. It's been like that throughout history. It's been like that throughout time, specifically from the age groups of 18 to 34. Like, this is the age group that I'm talking about. It's always been a fairly low turnout. Aside from, certain presidential elections, but I mean, even then, I want to talk about specifically like state elections, local elections, even school board elections, things like that, of that nature. And it's just, why can we not show up for those things? I mean, it's not sexy. It doesn't have pizzazz. It's a very boring topic. Okay. And I understand that. And another factor of that is, even if you do go out and vote, would the vote even matter? And then another conversation of that is, even would the person that I voted for actually do anything for me? And that's why we need unification. We need unity, we need communication, and we need to come together and come to terms to what's really going on in our reality right now. And a lot of that is based around billionaires and super old people, and I think first of all we got to talk about, the super rich, the ultra powerful, and the super wealthy, pretty much having so many strings pulled in order to just have everything go their way. I mean, clearly with this administration that's in present form right now, I mean, they're showing how corrupt they can be. They're showing how well they can play this system, and there's nothing that we can do about it. And I mean, like, it's so bad now, I mean, in terms of just everything, when it comes to media, social media, when it comes to the news or education and all these sorts of things now, like, it's so, like, it's become cool to be against politics, to not even mention it, because then it just comes off as like, oh, you're just spending your time on something that you have no control over, and so you tend to just leave it alone. You don't want to talk about it, speak on it. But I mean, how can, like, you leave this alone? How is something as serious as, feeding the children, getting them food to eat, housing, education, data centers is a current one right now. I mean, data centers are literally hurting your electric bills. Like, if you are a person, an adult who lives in a household and pays bills, that's hurting you. That is damaging you. And it's unfathomable to me that, like, considering a culture that cares so much about their bread, they don't even think about the other aspects that could affect their bread. And it's not only that, but affect their livelihoods, especially, in terms of just the quality of life that we're currently living right now. Everything is getting more expensive. Certain states, I mean, we saw Oklahoma, I mean, everything's getting expensive for them, and they didn't even raise the minimum wage. Like, it's just, to me, like, bro, why does the youth not care enough? Like, I mean, I don't really know how you can really grasp it without coming off as preachy or annoying or a pest, so to speak, that you can really promote politics in a way that isn't pervasive, and I just want to be able to, like, speak to the youth and say that this really matters, because this is our future, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is our future. Tax dollars are literally being spent every single day. If you go out and buy stuff, those are your tax dollars being taken away. You getting paid, that's tax dollars being taken away. And right now, they're being used for nonsense. They're either being used for bombs, right? Bombs to go after, countries that we have no really fathomable idea why we even have beef over them. I mean, the whole thing with Iran, that was so utterly pointless. I mean, I don't know about you, but that was utterly pointless to me. And then you have, essentially billionaires being able to take advantage of the tax cuts that's been given to them. I mean, and not only that, they get federal tax loopholes that they easily get to be able to take over. And another problem with that is that essentially they get to buy elections. They can pretty much just pay, spend money for somebody to be a winner for them, and boom, they win, because they got they got enough ads, they have enough people telling pretty much lies. And, a lot of the people that fall for this stuff and that are also deeply into politics are the elderly, which is another section that we should talk about, in which, nowadays, with the rise of misinformation being a positive connotation in this world right now. I mean, pretty much, like, if you go on Twitter, if you go on Instagram, if you go on YouTube, right? Like, even if you go around spreading misinformation, spreading hateful rhetoric, it doesn't get censored. It doesn't really get demonetized at times, it gets promoted, and you can get paid off of it now. And essentially nowadays, it's a lot of rage baiting culture. It's a lot of clickbaiting culture that is much more prominent now because it's a reward. You get rewarded for those behaviors. And now, especially with older individuals, like, they fall into this stuff like deeply. It's bad. Like it gets really, really bad. Like, I mean, dude, all right, I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, so we'll talk about a Facebook post that I saw of a that went viral. And essentially it was this cop in like the ocean, I believe, and she is holding a Bible, and she's like crying because it was in the water, I'm assuming, in the AI video, and she's walking out in tears with it. And like everybody in the comments is praising her for doing this wonderful thing, and saying thank you to the police, and saying, wow, what a great person, what a great woman she is. And dude, like, I mean, I'm sorry, like, bro, like, if you can't even fathom the situation of how ridiculous it is, like, you have to understand, bro, you are looking at a woman that's in the ocean. She's a cop and she's in the ocean. Why is she in the ocean? What? Like, isn't that what? She's in the ocean. She's crying and she's holding a Bible. She's carrying a Bible. And bro, the Bible is literally like 2 times wider than her torso. Like I'm like, it's so cartoonishly humongous that like what Bible would contend to be this large? Like who is and like who is going around throwing a Bible this humongous into the ocean? And it would require a police officer to save it. Like, you have to realize, like, does that even sound like a fathomable thought to you? Like, that doesn't even make sense in a movie. Like, how do you even get to this point in any situation whatsoever? And it's just like, this is how easily susceptible, easily susceptible, the older generation is, like, mainly boomers, so to speak. They just fall for anything now. They legit just fall for anything now. Like, they are literally like the current president as we speak. Like, they just can't even like fathom another idea that this video that they're watching could be faked, or they're being lied to, or it's being exaggerated, of that nature. And they just fall into it. And now, this is not just a boomer issue. I mean, it's an every generational issue, but I'm using boomers because they are pretty much the highest turnout of voters. And so now, when you have, billionaires essentially not even like getting drips of water being splashed into certain elections, like of places where they want to take economic advantage of, like, bro, like, you could spend maybe like 200,000. If you're a billionaire, you could spend like 200,000 for this representative that you support, right? Hey, you want to go on vacation to Jamaica? Sandals, Jamaica. You want to go to Sandals, Jamaica? You want to go to Tel Aviv, right? And like, they'll just pay for your vacation, and like they'll do their bidding. Like, it's so easy, bro. Like, it's so easy to just sell yourself out, because first of all, a lot of politicians, what they have to do is telemarketing, right? Like, they have to go to people, call people up, and hey, fundraise my run for office, a certain office. And so, like, it's so much easier to just get a rich guy to just do that work for you, and a lot of the time, like, they have money to spend, and they'll use it for themselves. And it's just like, like nowadays, like that's all you see from majority of the politicians that we have today. It's people who don't really think about, the prosperity of the nation, because they don't really feel a benefit to it. You have the issue of, people constantly being hostile to you because their life is not 100% perfect. And to a degree, yes, it like, they have a right to be upset, but at the same time, the representative doesn't carry all the power. They will, they can attempt at first, like they'll try and be like, hey, maybe we can do it, but like there's so many strings in politics that you just cannot control, that it's almost nearly like nothing you can do. The best thing you can do is to compromise and try to make things work. And so, I think it's such a lack of quality that has been presented today, that, that people have pretty much given up on the current system of government and they refuse to vote. And that's the thing that scares me most, is that people now are just flat out refusing to go out and vote, and it's a real scary thing, because when you have regular people not willing to participate in democracy, you're going to only have extremists, people who are too deep in, people who are just so rabid and like so loud at the same time. Like that's what the audience is gathering now, both on the left and the right. Now, me personally, I am scared of the right. The right wingers, like the far right wingers, like, bro, those people, I'm telling you, man, like they're the reason that you like them alone are the reason that you have to go out and vote, because God knows what they would want to do to you in terms of just controlling your life. Like they want to do so many things that, don't benefit you, especially, for someone like me as a minority, as a black man in this country. Like they will try and deny and say, oh, you're a liar, like racism isn't real. Don't listen to them, bro. It'll only get worse. What this administration is doing right now, they're not like going after, black people who live in this country, but they are going after immigrants. And I hear, certain minorities saying that, hey, they're going after those guys. That has nothing to do with me. And my mindset is, we're next, even if the so-called migrant problem is solved, they will just go after the next group of people that they feel is holding the country back, when in full reality, it's really just people that they are afraid of because they don't look like you, and that's really the mentality of what the far right is. It's just a matter of having that sense of ultra nationalism where, you stick with the people that are you, that are a part of you, and they deserve to be part of the upper echelons of society, while everyone else gets left behind. And now they're seeing certain groups of people garnishing success, garnishing support and help, and they don't like that, and they would rather have everybody suffer than for minority groups and immigrants to be able to succeed in this world. And it's just, again, like the youth, man, you gotta step up. We have to step up, in any way, shape, or form. It's just like, I'm not saying that you gotta vote Democrat or you gotta vote Republican, but it's just like, we need authenticity back into our politics. I'm not saying that it's going to be perfect. I'm not saying that there will be people that will take advantage of this system and that they won't try and not try to uphold values, but there are so many circumstances right now that can make things so much worse, and all of it is for the benefit of people who don't even care about you. We just need people that genuinely care about you. And what we're seeing right now, there is just so much rampant corruption. There's so much, you know, campaign money that's, you know, supposedly used legally and things like that. Even the legal bindings of our current democracy, I mean, it's basically just a loophole for the politician to make money in their own pockets. You know, I mean, you've seen these things such as gerrymandering or you know, the congressional stock bans. Why are these things like these things should already have gone through if we had a legitimate government, and yet nothing's been done, nothing's been signed, nothing's been put into law. And it's on us to bring that legitimacy and authenticity back for the people. And I mean, that's what this country is about, you know. And at the same time, I understand that feeling of hopelessness that, you know, people have in this current landscape of the political world, because it really does feel like you have no grasp at all on what you can control, what you can take care of, and what can happen for you in your life, you know. But I mean, seriously, man, if you don't want your bills to go all the way up, if you don't want people to go around and harass you because you want to live your way of life without causing harm to others, then so be it, you know. And no one should be able to tell you what to do while also being hypocrites and just reaping the benefits of your hard-working tax dollars, you know. And I mean, it's just like, man, you know, the thing is, like, a lot of it has to do with just blatant stupidity. Like, there's so much, like, dumbness. Like, there's so many dumb, it's just so much stupidity. Like, it's so much, like, stupid ideas just being put on blast. And, like, it seems like the loudest and dumbest things come about. Like, we're nearly, like, this political world right now it feels like a cartoon. Like, it's always been cartoonish, but to this degree, you know, I mean, it just feels like we used to be so respectable, you know. I mean, everybody looked at America as like the beacon of like promise and hope and freedom, and like we are losing all of these things, you know, and our reputation is in the gutter. And it's not just this administration. This has been a growing plague among both sides of the aisle. And it's just like, people are gonna have to step up, you know. Essentially, people our age are going to have to step up, because we know, you know, this new age of technology, we have the best knowledge of how to use this technology. And, you know, these things are now being used for people who want to go and have fun and make jokes and make it exciting. And that's the thing with politics. Like, you have to make it exciting, exhilarating. What can you do to convince people that my life can be made better because of politics? And I think, like, you know, if we come together and create a youth type of movement, like, we can really bring forward a new path of change where our lives can be so much better in every way, shape, and form. And, you know, maybe it's too optimistic, right? It's an optimistic idea that, you know, essentially nowadays can easily just be cut off, can be censored, can be demonetized, things like that. But I mean, this is something that just has to be too big to fail, you know? And I mean, it's the same way where corporate bailouts happen. And like, if we come together and really truly unite on this one thing of bringing back authenticity in politics, we can really do something. And most of all, you gotta go out and vote, man. You know, real life, like, the more and more people that vote, the more and more normalized it becomes, because it's less and less people who aren't really, like, inclined um, to get themselves to a place of a better society. And it's just like, we got to do something about it, man. I really am frankly tired. Like, it just feels like we have it. Like, we have it. Like, there's no reason, for example, like healthcare. Like, why not? Why can't Medicare be for all? Like, what is even actually stopping us? Like, seriously, bro. People have insurance getting denied and they have to spend $10,000. There was a guy that told me they added $60 to his hospital bill because they wheelchaired him across the hallway. Tell me how that's worth $60. You can buy GTA 5 with a PS4 version for $60, but getting pushed down the aisle with a wheelchair is the equivalency of that. Now, imagine an ambulance ride, bro. I mean, the amount of people that don't even want to go on an ambulance ride, they will break their leg and people will stand up and get out of an ambulance if it means they have to take a ride, because that is more damaging economically than they are actually physically damaged. Like, it's that scary to be able to pay for that. And this country is just way too rich to just not let it be a thing. Now, is it a far and long way to go to be able to reach something as substantial as Medicare for all? I mean, even just the sound of it sounds crazy for a people of over 350 million now in population. And, you know, it's just like, why not though? Like, isn't our health the most important thing? But nope. You know what is important? The stock market. The S&P 500. That's what we fight for every day, right? Like, I wake up and I want to make the S&P 500 go higher, and that's my way of living. I mean, if that's really the mindset we have, man, then that sounds like trouble to me, man. You know. But anyways, I think that was a little something, right? It was a little long, but I mean, look, man, I mean, I really feel some type of way about it. It's just like, you know, we can make a better world, and I really do believe that it's far-fetched and it's a long way to go, and maybe it is impossible. And, you know, in a world of politics, it is impossible. But I mean, the only way that we can combat this and strike forward and make real damage is coming together as a group of people, sort of like a rainbow coalition. Like, I really just do not care where you come from, who you are. You know, I mean, it is a matter if you are a U.S. citizen, because that's the only way to vote. But, you know, I don't really care what you are, who you are, where you come from, none of that. We gotta show up, period. And that's all I gotta say. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see y'all. I'm